Hey folks, Attorney Sharif Silmi. I want to take a moment to talk to the cybersecurity experts and professionals out there in particular. Understand whether you are seeking a national interest waiver in the EB2 category, or if you are considering an EB1a, cybersecurity professionals and experts. As cybersecurity professionals and experts, you have a great advantage in your pursuit of a self-petition green card. And not only is this because of very high demand within the profession, however, it's also because the area translates well into some of the categories that are really, really important. So there's some overlap here between those of you seeking an EB1a or an NIW. So if we're thinking about an EB1a case, what we are going to center a cybersecurity professional upon is that he or she is going to be a business-related contributor. And as a technology or business-related contributor, the centerpiece of a cybersecurity expert case will be the kind of frameworks or technology that they have worked on, and understanding the value and significance of that work based on certain factors. Now, we're not going to go deep into any of these factors today. You really want to consult with us more specifically so that you understand which factors apply to you. And this is mainly based on case law and past decisions. However, thinking about just maybe a general view, and this would apply to, I would say, individuals who are in any of the different spaces, such as, infrastructure, responding to cyber threats, and, things like application development security and the like. You are going to find that there are different areas where we can really leverage those experiences to satisfy the idea that based on the past success that you have done, you are now well positioned to demonstrate that you are going to qualify for an EB1a or a national interest waiver case. Now, to be more specific, when we think about what you need to do, it's really about addressing the idea that there is a highly specialized area of endeavor that you are involved in, and that this highly specialized area of endeavor is the reason for the claim that you're making. So, for example, when we think about it, the USCIS adjudication manual actually states that when one is seeking to establish that they are qualifying for EB1a, what they need to show is that they're seeking classification in, quote, a field of specification for which their classification is being sought. So you need to actually assert that you are established as an expert or professional within a specification, right? So the specification that you are seeking classification as having national or international acclaim in needs to be more specific than just cybersecurity. So if you say, well, I'm going to, pursue cybersecurity as my endeavor in the United States, then you need to be like essentially a CISO at a top, 50 firm, right? Now, if you want to be maybe we want to broaden this out such that you could show recognition without saying cybersecurity only. That's when specifying a particular area of specialization is very, very important. So, for example, you, as I mentioned, you could be looking at things like the particular skill that you're involved in. So you can be, for example, application development security, cloud security. You can be looking at things like incident response, threat intelligence, identity and access management. Then you can specify further, like identity and access management for data that has personally identifiable information, right? So that is how you are able to specify an area of endeavor or a specialization, which you're able to then claim that I am recognized in as a leading expert. So if you are a cybersecurity expert at Palo Alto Networks, for example, and you are on a team that is dealing with identity and access management, you're probably one of maybe 50 or 100 cybersecurity professionals within that particular area. We can get you to an EB1a approval in a very qualitative manner because we understand that there are only a specific number of companies out there. There's a specific number of teams within each company, where you stand within that organization, and then articulating that to the adjudicator such that they are put into a box where they have no choice but to approve the case. And you can do this without depending upon weak PR, fake materials that are out there in the public domain, such as, judging contests that don't have any authenticity to them. You don't want to lower yourself to those levels. You want to put yourself in the very highest level of your profession, and that would depend on things like performing in a critical or leading role within a division of an organization that has a distinguished reputation. So here, you might be familiar with demonstrating critical role, as shorthand people call, but it's not about just demonstrating critical role. It's about demonstrating how the regulatory criteria, which is proof or evidence that you perform in a critical or leading role for an organization that has a distinguished reputation, translates into recognition of sustained national or international acclaim. And the way that we do that, the thing that you must understand, cybersecurity professional expert who's out there, the thing that you need to really, really understand in order to be successful here is that the basis, the qualitative reason why you are at the highest level of your specified area of endeavor is because of the work that you have done over your entire career. It's not because of something that you're going to do within 1 or 3 weeks or 2 weeks of filing for your EB1a case. So don't get taken for a ride and be asked to do a bunch of new things that you haven't already done at any time in your entire career in developing an EB1a case. Now, there may be some things that you could do that would demonstrate that you have these qualifications. For example, there could be some memberships out there, but the membership is nothing, it's not based on new activity. Like, you can acquire a new membership based on what you've already done. And that shows that you have already made outstanding achievements in the field such that you've been recognized by a professional member association. And then that'll give you opportunity to present that regulatory criteria. But it's not a situation where you're, writing a publication 1 week before submitting the case and you're leaving off the fact that you've created a security framework for, or maybe an identity management protocol for, a database that's holding, billions of dollars worth of information. It doesn't make sense. The security the identification and access management framework that you develop is much more important than the obscurely present article that no one has read or cited. So you need to understand what to base your petition upon. If you are a security expert, a cybersecurity professional or expert, please, for the love of God, base your case on the frameworks and the technology that you've developed. And there's ways to do that without compromising information and such. So, we have a lot of experience in that. Data security is another one that's been, really hot. So these areas are super, super important. And then there's sub areas within each area. So for example, if you are in a data security role, then it depends on what kind of data are we talking about, right? So you might be in a healthcare data security environment, right? And that would have a very particular kind of information that you're monitoring. So the fact that you're being trusted to provide data security for, patients of some of the major institutions in the United States, whether it's on the insurance side or on the healthcare delivery side, that's going to be a big, big deal. If you're in the public sector, right? Like maybe you could be doing data security in, state level institutions, for example, that could be a really, really big deal. The last point I'll make about cybersecurity professionals and experts, and one of the reasons why the EB1a in particular is very, very attractive, is because often the comparable salaries, so the salary earned by your peers, so the actual statutory requirement is that you command a high salary or other remuneration in relation to your peers in the field. The salaries earned by your peers in the field are going to be less than what you see like with software engineers or application developers, for example, right? Or maybe product managers. So if, for example, you're in a $250,000 or above salary range as a cybersecurity professional, I think you're going to knock it out of the park. And you do not need to waste your time with things that, are manufactured or are not based on actual, lived experience as a professional. So my feeling and experience is that you do not need to manufacture things that are not readily part of your actual experience, that a qualitative case can be detected versus, and right now you're seeing such an increase in the amount of applications for EB1a that those cases that are built on qualitative foundation are standing out and being approved much easier than the cases that are essentially based on manufactured or maybe things that are quite flimsy, such as a very recent publication where one has a 20-year career, they've never published anything in their life, and then 1 week before submitting an EB1a case, they decide to submit that they've, the light has shone upon them and they've become, a writer, Shakespeare, and they want to go publish an article. I don't think it's going to work. I know there's stories here and there of people who have done it, but look, I've been doing this long enough and I understand the adjudication process well enough to tell you that that's where you end up with a notice of intent to deny because of a lack of qualitative bases. You need to have a qualitative basis, have a specified area of endeavor, use the professional qualitative things that you've done, and don't just make a surface level analysis where I get a letter from my manager and submit it and hope for the best. There's a very, very much more sophisticated and a dignified way to approach the EB1a, and I think that we can get it done for many of you who are out there who are unable to figure it out. So do reach out. We're happy to help, and if you're in a cybersecurity skill-based environment as a professional, as an expert, we'd love to talk to you and figure out how we can make this happen for you.